So I've had a delivery from lovecrafts.com because after watching a video by Naomi Needles, who's been discussing yarn snobbery and using acrylic yarns, it suddenly occurred to me that a lot of the time we haven't really discussed whether we can get hold of recycled yarn, which, despite the fact that, you know, some of us are using acrylic yarn because of its price point, it's budget friendly, and I really do understand people who have big families that they knit for, and even as a couple I find it extremely expensive for knitting, and knitting all these things that I do for you, you know, it's like, does take up a cost. But these are from Stylecraft. There is a double knit, and this has got a lot of yardage on it. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Look, 350 meters, 383 yards, DK weight. It's a recycled wool, acrylic and polyester. It has all the things that you would have normally on a ball band, 22 stitches by 30 rows to your 4mm needles. And it's got a bit of a fleck in it. Can you see? I like that. So also, that actually cost me in the sale on lovecrafts.com £3.60 a ball. Now that's not bad, because I buy Stylecraft special DK here in the Orkneys at £2.50 a ball. Now I've not bought a lot of chunky, but this is another of the recycled yarns, and it has a free pattern on the back, and it's chunky, 100% recycled yarn again. Oops, let's have a look. See, 40% wool, 30% acrylic, 30% polyester, all recycled, at 140 meters or 153 yards. The gauge is 14 stitches by 20 rows on a 6mm needle. And again, it's got fleck. I'm loving that. So what am I going to do with these? My idea was to use a chunky. I've got 5 balls, and I think this was something like £4 odd a ball. Was it £4.60 a ball? Something like that. I'll check it up and put it on the screen. And so I thought I'll make myself, I think this was avocado as well. I'll make myself a skirt with that. A nice thick knitted skirt. And the pink, I've not got many cardigans. So I'm going to make a cardigan in that. And I'm going to be cheeky. I am going to make a petite knit cardigan in Stylecraft Recreate. Yeah, why not? I might even double it up with some of my cotton, because I don't know, it just depends on what weight I need for the cardigan. But if I need an Aran weight, I can add on some of my pink cotton to go with that. That would be quite nice for a summery cardigan. So let's try this out. It's not expensive. There's a lot more yardage on the DK weight ball. which means although I bought 5 balls, did I really need 5 balls? We'll soon find out, won't we? We could even make a long cardie with it. So it's another option, isn't it, for those of you who will not touch acrylic? Well, actually, why not be a part of the recyclable, sustainable generation, shall we say, the sustainable generation, and let's try recreate. The more we try recreate, the more colours they will probably give us. Yes, this is made in Turkey. It says that there, made for Stylecraft, under licence in Turkey. But they are obviously rethinking the use of acrylics in the environment, which is a good thing. Because, as we know, acrylic takes 200 years to dissipate. And I suppose, does it ever dissipate? It doesn't stop me from using it because I don't use a lot of it. And if it's there out there to use, then I think we should use it. But be aware that you can't dump it, really. So there are other ways of using waste yarn. Don't waste it, stuff it. If you don't stuff it, spin it into your fleece. You can do that, chop it up into little bits and then put it into the fleece when you are carding it, and then you can spin it and get these lovely flecks, because that's what they've done basically. That's how they've got these flecks. So something I wanted to try, and I wanted to show you that it's out there and it's not too expensive. £3.60 is only £1.10 more, with probably a lot more yardage than I would pay for a special DK 100-gram ball. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have lots to say in the comments, so I'll leave that up to you. Emotionally speaking, when you don't know what's happening with your body. But I did knit a few little things. Wasn't working at the time. So, and I've actually kept a diary, but that's... Somebody said to me once, you ought to write a book. It's one of the things my mum always says, you ought to write a book. I say, if I wrote a book, there'd have to be loads of books. I've had a very busy and full life. You know, I've got no regrets about my life. I've done a lot. And I still want to do so much more. Look, I'm doing a knitting podcast. Who'd have thought little Claire would be doing a knitting podcast? But here she is, doing it. I'm doing things like photography that I've done for years. Now I'm making videos, which I've not done before. But it's just enjoyable. You know what I mean? I enjoy that. Anyway, I've knitted a few little things, and they've stayed with me all these years. I did try to get rid of them. I tried to sell them on a little craft stall. I tried to sell them in a little shop. They never went. They always found their way back to me. So I've kept them. And so you're going to see them today. For the first time in their little history, they are going to be on TV. YouTube TV. So, first off, I made this little hat with a little rose, with a little peak, in a Noro yarn, which I got when we were in Yorkshire somewhere probably, or something like that. And it has a little sparkle in it. Can I bring it through? Little sparkle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some photographs of these for you. And with it, I did a little loose collar, which just had an eyelet there, and I just pulled that through, and that made a little loose collar to go round this little jumper. Isn't that cute? I love the colours of that. I would have hoped any daughter of mine would have loved colour. I don't think she would have had much choice, to be fair, would she? So I was very much into at the time into Debbie Bliss and some of the yarns that she has, you know, the cotton cashmeres and the cotton angoras and the fabrics, the wools, the yarns that she produces are so beautiful. So that's a little shoe. And that came from the Debbie Bliss book, which I still have, for beginners when they're making their children's clothes. So I made these little shoes to match. I made a little hat, a little lace hat. Nice lace pattern. To go with the knitted dress, again from the Debbie Bliss book, and this was it. I think this was in cash. I think this was in a cottony version. It feels very nice. Little dress. With a little satiny bow. And I've just noticed there's something else down here. Oh yeah, some little booties to match the hat. The other hat. Some little booties. I've forgotten half of these, you know. Don't get them out. I think I need to put elastic in this, but isn't that cute? I made her a little skirt. That was a design of my own. I designed that one myself. And a pretty little cardigan to match. Isn't that lovely? I do love that. I don't know if that came from a pattern or I did that one. Could have come from a pattern, I think. It might still have been from that Debbie Bliss book. That is definitely cotton. On the green theme, I made another little dress from the Debbie Bliss book with a green ribbon. That's beautiful, isn't it? I wish I knew what the wool was, but it was definitely from Rowan, because we used to go to Holmfirth occasionally. And that's where I used to buy my wools And here I've made another pair of moss stitch slippers with a little bit of embroidery on. And then I made a little peach one with a pink ribbon, but this peach one has got Angora in it. That I'm sure. That could be the cotton Angora. But that's cute, isn't it? And then a little angel top. Again, I think, no, this isn't a different yarn. But again, it'll be one of their own yarns. With some pearly buttons. And then finally a little hat to match. Yeah. Pretty. So that was it. I had made a lot of little prem items. I still have the pattern book, I think. I took my little bag with all these little prem things in, tiny wee nappies, anything like that, because everybody was convinced. There was one lady even knitting some lilac baby clothes for me. I used to get people saying, when are you due? Well, I was quite big. The friend that took me to hospital said, I've seen people with twins not much bigger than that. You know what I mean? So we ended up having more pregnancy tests, this, that and the other. Then I started taking some of these tablets, which I was very worried about, because I thought to myself, what if I still am? You know, I don't want to harm the baby, if there is a baby. And eventually the swelling went down and the due date passed, because I was convinced there was a due date. And there you go. But it took 2 years to get me into a situation where they were happy to operate on me. So I had a lot of tablets and I had a lot of injections, and finally we had the total hysterectomy. So I'm not throwing them away. They're just too good for that, too nice for that. And yes, I could donate them to someone. I kind of have tried, but I think they're stuck with me. So Sorcerer and Lilac might seem to be a sad story, but for me it's a memory. It's a memory of once being a mum in a strange sort of a way. Would she have liked anything I knit? I think so. I think things like that run in blood, don't they? Yeah, run in the DNA. Anyway, that all said and done, Sorcerer and Lilac is about the love of a mum for a daughter. And you know, quite a lot of mums and daughters are like sisters. And I hope that kind of relationship is what, you know, I would have had. And all the nice things that I make, I try and keep them within the framework of current fashion. But, you know, some of the stuff I've designed over the years always come back into fashion anyway. What goes around comes around. We all know that. And I love my cutesy little toy logo of Saucer and Lilac, the two little girls, the two little sisters, because it covers all ages then, because I don't just knit for adults or myself. As you can see, I've knitted for little ones. I used to knit an awful lot during that time, and a lot of my baby clothes and children's clothes went to charitable organisations, including the little Prem items went to the local hospital, the maternity ward. A lot of the other knitted items I made, bright and cheerful colours, oh, I had all sorts of colours going, bright pinks, all sorts, went to the local French African families who had been escaping the violence in Congo and then Angola. So, you know, it's knitting is not just for me, but it's for the concerns I have. You know, for some of the other things that are going on in the world. Yeah, I think I'm getting there. I'm going to go and get another cup of tea though, because mine's gone cold now. I've talked so much. Oh, I've done it again. Did I forget to do the thingy? My I-cord. I think I did. It's when you talk too much, you see. Yeah, talk too much. Let's whip back a bit to the end. I'm doing my knit back, going through the, there you go, going through the stitch underneath, and then let's slip them purlwise onto the front and then knit on. A little part of me says, do I add some embroidery to this? I don't know. I think I just want to keep it simple. Like I say, I'm going to make a little I-cord belt for this. And then what I'm going to do next, as I say, is the copper brown cargo shorts. And I'm going to use a sort of pattern that I've developed from the shorts I knit earlier this year, which became thermal undies. They still haven't got any elastic in them. So I'm going to use that pattern, but I'm going to have to change the gauge on it because this will be double knit, not 4-ply Sandnes yarn, sock yarn. This is going to be double knit cotton. So yeah, I'm going to have to change the gauge on that. And I'm just going to, am I going to do it from the top down this time? No, I still think I'm going to do it in pieces from the bottom up. I've got to do some shaping at the back to lengthen the back, but that would be that'll be using short rows. And then I want to do a casing for another knitted another knitted I-cord for the waist, you know, a tie for the waist. So that's what I'll be doing next. And then what I'm going to have to then devise how I'm going to put pockets on that. Am I going to do integrated pockets, or am I going to sew them on afterwards? Part of me wants to do an integrated pocket. A couple of flaps with a couple of buttons. And I think that's what will make it a cargo pant or a cargo short. I don't want to go too mad with pockets because I don't know how this is going to work using this yarn, whether it will sag or be too... I could do a side pocket, I suppose. Well, you'll probably see me doing that next time we meet. Anyway, I'm going to pop off now and make myself a cup of tea. And I'll do a few photographs of my lovely little lilac wardrobe. And it's kind of inspired me again to start designing some more children's wear, you know. Oh, but it's nice to say hello to all you grannies out there. I noticed that a lot of my viewers are my age group. I don't get many younger viewers unless they're using other devices that my analytics don't show up, but I know I get a lot of you grannies out there watching me. Well, thank you for that. That makes me feel good, makes me feel that you know what I'm talking about. And we grannies have to show these younger ones about how we were taught to knit. Don't want to lose some of these traditional crafts or traditional methods of knitting. I understand circular knitting is great because all you do is knit. But the purl stitch, you need the purl stitch for some of these patterns. If you're doing a Gansey pattern, you use a purl stitch. If you're doing garter stitch on a circular needle, you need to do a purl stitch. Come on, guys. Purling is the best thing out. It brings texture to garments and your knitting. How can you do a rib without a purl? Oh, I'm going to get on my bandwagon again, aren't I? Straight needles and purling. Just do it. Here, coming into my row now. So I'm going to say ta-ta. Thank you for joining me. Don't feel sorry for me. I don't want people to feel sorry for me in any format. I'm having a good life. I'm going to put it in the present tense. I'm having a good life. I am busy. I'm enjoying joining you. And if there's anyone else out there who's had similar experiences, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. Here we go. Here we go. Purl, 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 last stitch, knit. Goodbye. Keep knitting.
At this time of the year, I can't stop asking why I'm struggling to stay. It's a mystery why I'm here. I guess I'm just too tired of fighting.